I am on week 2 post-op. Welcome back to Pathology. I've never done something necessarily like this. I just thought it would be interesting and possibly helpful to have you come along with me in my hip arthroscopy, labrum repair, capsular plication surgery. So let's go. So as of today, I am officially 2 weeks post-op.
Yay!
Which is a huge milestone. And quite honestly, when you're in the surgery and in the recovery point, this day feels very, very far away. What happened? Why did I need a labrum repair with a capsular plication? So growing up and always, I've been a dancer. Ballet, point, hip hop, funk, liturgical, lyrical, contemporary, jazz, everything pretty much under the sun except for tap. I don't know why my mom just wouldn't put us in tap because of the noises and things. Love you, Mom. It's a little late, but you know, no hard feelings. When I was in dance growing up, I remember my dance teacher, one of my favorite people in the whole world, shout out Raina, she would have us doing just different warm-ups, different Pilates, and obviously bar work and things like that. My left hip would give out and it just felt like it was almost dislocating trying to get to the location where I was trying to push it. It wasn't always necessarily painful. It was just this nagging feeling to pop it, I would say. I would be like, oh, hold on, I have to pop my leg. I've said that my whole life. And as I've gotten older, I've kind of had to pop it all the time, especially if we're hiking or we're running. I have to stop, fix it if it's out of alignment, and then we can proceed. I saw 4 hip surgeons, all with labrum repair specialties, and I picked the best one that had done the most cases. He had 167 cases total of my specific surgery of a labrum repair with a capsular plication. And that's a very important question to ask your doctor, is how many of these have you done? How many have you done this month? And how many have you done annually on average? Very important. If they say like 30, run the other way. So after seeing those 4 specialists and the spinal surgeon, and the main reason I saw the spinal surgeon was because my foot was going numb all the time when my hip would dislocate, and I was concerned and my hip surgeon was concerned that I probably had something going on with my back. My dog Mitty, as most of you guys know, became really ill, and I was carrying her absolutely everywhere. I would pick her up with a straight hip and a straight back because I couldn't squat, otherwise my hip would dislocate. And my back also fractured. One of them had to give. You can't just lift things without your hips and your back. So I saw him, he gave me, steroid packs, and we did all these different things, and then I was able to be cleared to return to the hip surgeon. Once I saw the hip surgeon, I had the arthrogram of my hip done, and they injected my hip. I have a picture I can put in here of where they put the needle. So I was like, oh, I guess I didn't realize it was going right in my groin. It was just very uncomfortable, but it was cool to see the fluoroscopy on the screen. I could see, what he was doing in my hip right in front of me as it was going in. It all went well as it could go. On the imaging that my doctor and I got back from that visit was that my labrum was ripped all the way through. It was what I was told was basically floating in the joint. It should have been sitting right on top of the joint like this, or right on top of that hip socket, as that suction cup. That's what a labrum repair is, if you don't know. It's kind of like the glue that holds your joint together. And mine was apparently ripped and just out here kind of floating around. So in a perfect world, you at least have some of it attached to itself so that they can just sew these other parts back onto it. And they were a little afraid that it wasn't attached at all. And we also knew that because my hip was dislocating so much and I couldn't put weight on it, I would need what's called a capsular plication. And my surgeon was awesome, and I will demonstrate. And he went like this. He said, this is a capsule that attaches your joint. We rip it. And normally people after the surgery will just sew it back together if they had to cut it. like this, just how it was. In a capsular plication, you want to shorten it and you want to have it tighten the joint for stability purposes. So we're actually going to sew it back together like this. So you overlap it, not like this, like this. Then you sew it up here. And this actually has a much longer recovery time, at least by a few months compared to just a labrum repair. When I woke up from surgery, the surgeon had explained to John what happened during the surgery, as they do if you bring a family member with you. And he said that my labrum did have a slight tear in it, but it wasn't what they thought, just floating around the joint. It was actually curled up inside the joint, folded over on itself. And there's not even a name for it. So what he did was have to kind of like a rubber band, pull it down over the joint and then anchor through it, hold it in place. So I have one anchor and 3 different of those kind of sailor rope sutures that should dissolve by month 6, he said. And then I still had the capsular plication where they kind of sew it onto itself.
So something else I think is very important to note is that I started physical therapy about a month before my surgery. I went just a couple times and then was doing the majority of the work at home. This gave me a chance to really strengthen my core and the muscles around my hip, which has helped my recovery immensely.
I have a video that I can share with you that I recorded the day of my surgery and then one a couple days after. The one of my surgery, it's funny looking back at it because it looks like I'm a little out of it, but I actually was not. I remember parts of my surgery, which is a little scary, and at my follow-up appointment, I talked to my surgeon about it so that in my chart in the future, if I ever have to have emergency surgery or something, I'm not going to be awake for that. And the weird thing was, like, I wasn't given any ketamine. My significant other and I looked at all the drugs I have received, and he's going to be a nurse anesthetist very, very soon here. And we were like, none of those are like hallucinogenic. And the things that I witnessed were real and true. So it was just a little creepy and makes me a little nervous for surgeries in the future. If I ever have to have any, hopefully not.
Today is day 0 of my surgery journey. I had a left hip arthroscopy with a labrum repair for a torn labrum, and it was bunched up. So I kind of had like a labrum unbundling inside the joint, and then also a capsular plication surgery. I went in for surgery at 8. It was about 2.5 hours, and I was home by like 1. And my significant other is a nurse, so he was there with me and taking care of me all day today, which is super nice. And some beautiful flowers. Everything is going really well. I have my leg compressors on. My leg is elevated. Kind of hard to see here. But my leg compressors are on. I turned it off for this moment because they're pretty loud. And just taking it easy. I actually feel super lucid. The surgery felt super fast for me. I didn't wake up nauseous. Thankfully, they gave me a scopolamine patch. I think that kind of did it for me. Usually if they just give like Zofran, it doesn't work too well. After the surgery, the anesthesiologist came in and said that I was actually already awake and lucid in the OR right afterward. I remember absolutely everything from waking up on. There's no like loopy time period. And freakily enough, I actually remember a conversation that was had during my surgery. So I think my anesthesia was a little light, probably lighter than it should have been. So I am just tired and recovering at home. I have, meds and ginger ale, and John's been giving me absolutely everything I need, which is awesome. I have my crutches in the corner. There's some things that I absolutely now realize I could not have lived without, such as a toilet seat raiser with handles. Life changer when you cannot bend your leg. And I do have my brace on that you can't really tell under all of this. Goes all the way down to about my knee. Yeah, very thankful it's over. Now about 4 to 6 month recovery time. And then we will be running everywhere again.
All in all, my surgery went very well. I was very thankful and very blessed to have John with me through all of it. You need someone with you for at least the first week. But even now, like when he's at clinical, I have to get my own breakfast. I have to let the dog out. It's a lot of work for me because I can't carry things yet. I'm very excited to lose the crutches because that'll give me a lot more freedom in what I can hold. Can't really feed the dog and stuff because I can't bend to pick those things up. So just keep that in mind. John is very sweet, and I can put in some pictures here. When he leaves, he'll fill this little bucket of stuff I might need for the day, and he'll have the Keurig already and things like that. And that's just been such a blessing to know that he has my back like that, and that I don't have to worry about those little details in my day.
So it is currently post-op day 5. Days 0 through day 3 about were super awesome. I had a scopolamine patch on. I was taking my narcotics every 6 hours. Really minimal pain and no nausea, which is my biggest fear, I would say. And then unfortunately we took off the scope patch at the end of day 3, like early on day 4, and the nausea and the pain just hit me. Unfortunately, I was prescribed Zofran, and Zofran's never worked for me. It works on different pathways than like Reglan or Compazine, so those are usually my go-tos, and it gave me 0 coverage. So once the scopolamine patch was off, it was really bad day yesterday on day 4. I was super dizzy. I almost blacked out while in the bathroom more than once. And when you're dizzy, you don't want to be up on crutches. It was just a long day. This is Shenandoah. She's a little peanut. She's been such a nice distraction, as well as our foster dog during this time. So yesterday I did a virtual visit and got some Compazine. Thank the good Lord Jesus. And that helped me a lot. I've just been sticking with Tylenol, taking about 1,000 milligrams at a time of that. So I was able to get up today and to shower, which is so nice. And you can tell I'm just finally clean, and it just makes such a different outlook on your perspective when you're clean and you just feel more like yourself. So that is super nice. Big blessing of the shower today. And then otherwise it's football Sunday. So we bought Red Zone and we've been watching football all day long. I'm hoping I'm out of the woods for nausea. We have our little vomit bags all over the house. I have a blood pressure cup and a SpO2 monitor, and those have all been, for the most part, within normal limits. There's a couple times where my heart rate's been in the 40s, which is super weird because I actually have like a resting tachycardia with heart issues I've had my whole life. So me in the 40s was a little bit scary when I was kind of faint, like on and off, about to faint yesterday. And otherwise it's been going pretty well as could be expected. I've been able to work from home from my new job, which has been a blessing and a very nice distraction as well. So if you're going to get the surgery, try to set yourself up to be able to do something productive during this time. Is a game changer. Maybe start a hobby. I have a big old Sudoku book John got me, stuff like that. My mom gave me a Bob Ross coloring book, different things. So just set yourself up for success and just give yourself things to do, like maybe buy the Hallmark Channel if you don't usually have the Hallmark Channel, or things like that you can look forward to and enjoy. If you're having the surgery, good luck, and I'll try to update you again later on.
My post-op appointment today, it went well, but I do not get to lose my brace or my crutches, so we will be rocking these for another 2 weeks. And then I start PT today in a couple hours, which is exciting. Here are some photos from the beginning, so right after my surgery, and then right after the stitches were removed as well.
So an update for today for week 2. I am still using my brace and my crutches. I had my post-op appointment on day 9, so about a week after my surgery. So 2 weeks from that appointment, or 3 to 4 weeks post-op, I will get to choose, I think, to lose either my brace or my crutches. So that will be very exciting for me. I am off all pain meds. I've been off pain meds since like day 5, nothing except for the aspirin I'm supposed to take every day. That's about it. If I have a bad day, I take 2 Tylenol of extra strength Tylenol, and it turns into a good day. I've been able to shower since day 5, so I've taken a few showers since then. It's a lot of work, but I will say if you're going to have the surgery, you 100% need to buy a shower chair. It is so worth it. It has handles, it has holes in it to drain, and then you can have someone helping you into the shower in the shower chair, but that really helps you to be more independent. And then I didn't have to worry about feeling faint or dizzy, because I did have a few days early on where I just didn't feel stable, but I wanted to be clean, and I felt totally safe and fine in the shower chair. So anyway, this is just kind of a hodgepodge of my recovery so far. My biggest tips are to buy a toilet seat razor, super important, buy a shower chair, and I'll maybe talk about this more in later videos. I would plan something, so we went out for a fall date. John picked out, this spooky shirt for me, and he even painted little pumpkins on my nails. He made us chais at home, which are my favorite, and we drove like an hour and just looked at all the fall leaves here in Pennsylvania, and it was so fun and just nice to look forward to that. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, especially if you are having the surgery, please drop them down below. I would love to help in any way that I can, because you have a lot of questions before something like this, and everyone is not the same. I binge watched a lot of videos before my surgery and was trying to just gather what the most collectively similar information was to see how mine would turn out. And it was still different than I thought it would be. But thankfully I am doing well, and I would love to help you in any way I can. Thanks guys. Bye.